What is happening, Nation's Corner fam? I'm your host, Tony Justice, and welcome to Nation's Corner. And with me tonight, one of the most loveliest, Debhausen. How you doing, Deb?
Oh,
yeah, I thought you were talking about Mongrovian over there.
How's it going, Deb?
I'm good. I'm great. Got back from vacation last week. Had a full week at work, and it's going good. Got a new car.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. The Silver
Yeah.
Bullet, correct?
new whip.
The Silver Bullet is what we came up with.
Silver
Not
Bullet?
because of that. No.
Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet has multiple meanings. It's a supernatural reference,
which is why
which is why when we were talking about it, we landed on that, and it's also it's the name of Bob Seger's band, and Bob Seger's music is in Supernatural quite frequently, so.
And it's the nickname for this beer too. So,
well, that has no meaning to me.
And it's also the name of a great horror movie, Silver Bullet, Stephen King.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of, Mongrovian Mike is down there below us. How you doing, Mongrovian?
What up?
what are you
taking a sip of freaking beer? Jeez. Give me a minute, will you? No. What's up, everybody? I'm excited to have our buddy, Nick. Yeah. Nick from Sheboygan is the guy everybody knows when he calls in on Busted Open, but he's also a wrestler, Sinnick.
Yes.
And he's got a brand new promotion called Redemption Championship Rasslin. Yeah, that's right. He says it. They say it Rasslin with an R. There isn't even a W on it. And we're going to have him in a few minutes. But first of all, I'd just like to shout out some birthdays that happened this week. Our very own Front Row. And on the same day, they both celebrated our very own R.A. Davis. So happy birthday to the two brothers, two brothers in the Nation's crew.
Yep. Front Row is off celebrating his birthday with his family.
He's off, yes. Yes.
Happy birthday to them.
On a personal note, shout out and a happy birthday to my beautiful mother-in-law. She's 80-something years old. And I just know today's her birthday and she's awesome. And I'm gonna give a toast to that lady there. Happy birthday, Ma.
Yes.
Love you.
She is. And also,
one day I'll show her how to sign on to YouTube and see this clip.
Yeah.
But I'm not up to that task.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bud.
It's also Steve's daughter's birthday today.
Yes.
So, Steve's daughter, Steve and PA. So happy birthday
the metal maniac.
The metalhead himself.
Yes.
Yeah, so hell yeah, brother. So if y'all notice, I'm in a more spacious apartment. I got a new truck. For those that know me, I sold my rig that I bought, and I drove it for like 3 years, and I sold it. Actually, it's still in the process of selling, but should have it sold next week, hopefully. Awesome. But I went ahead and got a company truck, so no more stress, no more worry, no more overhead. Get to do the same exact thing I was doing in my rig. I get to go where I want to go, take a load here, take a load there, take a load everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? So yeah. So it's definitely bigger.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what she said. So anyway, it's awesome.
Man. That's awesome, bro.
So yes, and I also want to give a little shout out, speaking of, people in the crew that are having some good news coming to them. Our very own Chris from Baltimore just bought a house. So I think she
Beep
said
boop.
she's closing on the house on Wednesday. The pictures look beautiful. So congrats, Chris. Happy for you.
She's gonna have her wrestling room.
Yes, she's going to have space to put up all her memorabilia and collectibles.
The smoke room, the humidor.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So happy for Beat Boop. So
Yep.
yeah, so the crew's got some good things going on. So while we're speaking about the crew, we got a crew in here in our chat. So let's go ahead and acknowledge some. Showed RA. We got John in South Jersey. What's going on, John? He's got his daughter visiting him for a couple of weeks, and they went to a race yesterday. So I'm glad that John got to spend that time with his daughter. That's awesome. We got Mad Mac in the house. What's going on, Mac? Yeah.
What's up, brother? Fresh off the heels of the great Hall of Fame induction. It was awesome, bro. Great seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Yeah. Yes.
And Eddie Harper, he's been hanging out since the show before the show come on the air. So thank you for being in the chat, waiting on the show to go live. So welcome, Eddie.
Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends.
Yep. Yes. Hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe. Tell your friends.
We appreciate it.
Say, you know what? I
tell
heard
your friends,
something cool today.
Yeah. And while you're at it,
start spreading the news.
He has a podcast.
Yep.
What was that?
I said, while you're at it, look for Mad Mac. He's got a podcast.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, while we're waiting on our special guest to arrive, let's just get into some things that happened this week. Deb, where you wanna start?
Well, let's talk about some AEW. We had Grand Slam on Wednesday, which was a big show. It was, at the why am I blanking now? Where the US Open is played. Yes, Arthur Ashe. Thank you. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it was at Arthur Ashe, which is kind of become somewhat of home turf for AEW, which is kind of cool. Jericho had talked about it on Busted Open that it's kind of interesting that no other wrestling companies have performed there in the past. So it was I thought it was a really, really great show.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of cool things. Not only the matches, but I feel like a lot of the stories and the characters are really coming along right now. And one of the biggest things we got is Eddie Kingston beating Claudio in the opening match for the ROH championship. So what did you guys think about that?
That was a banger.
Yeah, that was such a banger. That was an amazing match. It was hard hitting.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, people thought Claudio was gonna pull it out at the end.
Yeah.
And it really went back and forth and had you going, oh shit, maybe Eddie is gonna win. Oh no, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. And they really did a lot of good false finishes and a lot of hard hitting moves. And yeah, Eddie, well, he just made a poster today that he's got to postpone a lot of the independent things he has going on because he's got to heal up and be ready to be able to go for New Japan and for AEW. So now he's got double duty. I said duty.
Yeah.
He's got double duty.
Yeah.
And, he's got to stay as healthy as he can because you know what, Tony, I'll give it to you now. You know us relatively, in shape but not really in great shape guys. Root for these guys,
Yeah.
We always root for these.
Yeah. Thanks for I get it.
I'm hoping you're with me, man. Come on.
Hey, we'll get back to
I'm
AEW
just a little
talk
blown
here in a
away.
Is
little
that a
while.
Don't worry.
compliment or a diss? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know.
I was
Figure that we'll have to sort that out later.
trying to say that I'm out of shape, but
What?
Tony's not out of shape,
Yeah.
really. In all honesty, if it wasn't
Really?
for Tony and Neil, whenever we get together, if it wasn't for them guys carrying my ass around, I'd be lost. I'd be lost.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to AEW talk in a little while, but now we have in the waiting room. We're going to go ahead and bring him in from Redemption Championship Wrestling. The one, the only Sinnick is going to join us. How you doing, Sinnick? How's it going, brother?
I'm sorry, a bit late, but I'm happy to be here. Just like life, my family life comes first, and that's been chaotic. I rushed to get home to be on this podcast.
What?
Yeah. Appreciate you. Nice
We're happy
hat.
Thank you.
Well, now people can put a face to the caller, Nick from Sheboygan, on Busted Open.
Here we go.
Or
yeah,
nice hat.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
I still love you, Nick. I still love you.
We don't always got to agree on everything, right? As long as we all love wrestling.
Right. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true. So,
so
Nick,
what? No matter what we're wrestling, though, you guys, football fans talk the most smack, the most crap than wrestling fans do. I don't care what anyone says.
I could probably talk more educated smack about my own team than anybody else can.
Yeah.
And so could I. I mean,
yeah, right.
I'm no saint over here.
Hey, 40-0, brother.
Shush. Yeah, man. So Nick, tell us about Redemption Championship Wrestling. We saw it. Been promoting the crap out of it. Y'all got a show coming up. Tell us all about it, man.
Absolutely. First and foremost, what I want to do is I want to thank all three of you and everybody else in the nation who I put out a post. I asked for a little assistance, and I got a lot of assistance. You guys showed up and showed out, and myself and the rest of the roster above, we're all so grateful for you guys giving us a little bit more of a platform. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Our first, it's going to be next Saturday, this next coming up Saturday, September 30th, and we are going to be in Lenoir, North Carolina, and we're crowning our first ever American heavyweight champion. I'm going to be in the main event. I don't know why. I'm not really that great, but we're going to have an inauguration brawl. So obviously rules are thrown out the window. It's going to be insane. We're going to be feeling it the very next day. We're all so freaking excited. We've got other shows lined up. October, we're going to be in Gastonia, North Carolina, my town. And then we're going to be in Mount Holly, North Carolina the following month, which is right in the town that I work at. So it's all actually kind of creepy as far as where we're going to be. Our first show is kind of like the make or break. You know what I mean? Like we get to see how many people show up. Do we break even? All that kind of stuff. The behind the scenes stuff that I don't necessarily need to talk about, but boy, are we kind of, like shaken about a little bit. And
where is it in North Carolina exactly?
Yeah.
How close is it to Charleston, let's say?
Sheboygan's a gimmick. Sheboygan was here.
Oh.
I kept calling in as Nick from North Carolina, and nobody gave a shit. So one day I called in as Nick from Sheboygan, and Bully goes, "Hey, put that guy on."
There you go.
Yeah, he loves Sheboygan.
Yeah,
he does. I don't know why.
Hey, even though Scott Steiner warned him about the fat chick.
Man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we have a few nations from North Carolina. We got Front Row. He's near Charlotte, and then we got Steven Wyand, who's in He's a little south east of
Rockville.
Rockingham.
Rockingham.
He's
Rockingham,
not
yeah.
actually in Rockingham. He's on the outskirts, but yeah, I would just say Rockingham. So
Yeah.
Is that a perfect town for him to live in, Stephen? He lives in Rockingham, right?
And
yeah, he goes to all the rock
he's
concerts.
such a massive fan of rock
He's at a
music.
rock concert tonight.
Yes.
He's on
Dude's
day
at
2.
concerts every night.
He's at a festival.
He's on day 2.
Yeah.
If anybody's a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
3.
I'd love to live in a town called Rumham.
Hey, Rum and him sound like they go real good together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give us a little history of how you got this together, and who you got it together with, and is it an offshoot from another promotion that disintegrated or is going away, or you left? And who are the other wrestlers? Give us just give us a nice rundown of what's going to go on.
That's actually a really good and really easy question to answer because it's still so fresh in my mind. And you can't talk about what's about to be without talking about what was. So I was in a company called ACW, and ACW is an outdoor venue. If it rained, guess what? We weren't having a show. I was set for a dog collar match with my rival. We were going on over a year, and you don't see that in the indies. You don't see those year-plus long rivalries that long, and you don't get that investment so much. This Vail, North Carolina crowd for ACW, they were hanging on to every single thing we were doing. And then they were disappointed. And then they were disappointed again. And while they're getting disappointed, guess what? We're getting disappointed too. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, not by a long shot. It was the not willing to want change. It felt like for everything that me and the booker were trying to do to create positive change and bring new things in, bring in new wrestlers, it was like the people right above at the top didn't want it. They kept pushing back. And Jimmy Mellon, the founder of RCR, he was the first one that just said, I can't do this anymore. And I went, I know where my loyalty lies. This is the man that has done everything and more for me. He brought me in the first place. And I said, you guys are out of your mind. And they were trying to have very not well-trained wrestlers run trainings. It was just becoming, I don't know if you could curse here, but a show.
Say what you will.
A shit show. It was becoming a damn shit show. And couldn't take it anymore. Now, another question that you asked, Mike, was some of the roster. I also do something, another promotion that is not open to the public so much. It's kind of like an invitation only, but it's on YouTube, and it's very good, and it's been something that's been running since it started, probably like on a trampoline, and they've only done more. I know. They've only done more to grow and grow and grow. Yes, this started out as a backyard thing, but then became a real company. Right. Everybody got professionally trained. And we used to meet up together and have these shows where I was in New York and they were in North Carolina. They'd come there. We'd go to them. So I've known these guys since probably 2014. And some of them stayed and a lot of them didn't. But the ones that stayed, when I moved to North Carolina, were like, hey, would you like to come back? We're trying to do this as a more legit thing. So the reason why I'm putting the VTW thing is a fair share of the roster is made up of those guys. And those guys also cut their teeth on the independent scene all around the Carolinas. So there's them. Then there's some people also who said, I can't do this in ACW anymore either. It was just a whole bunch of us that wanted change and we're willing to bet on ourselves because a lot of risks are right in front of us. A lot of people are hoping that we fail. You know, when you're shooting for success, you're going to make a lot of enemies that just want you to fail. Right. care about those enemies. We just want to run our show and put smiles on faces and have good wrestling. Old school meets new school.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
like the concept of the
Wow.
old school meets new school because you need some of the philosophies of the old school still, but
Mhm.
the world is so different these days that you have to have some of the new school mixed in, or else you're not gonna survive.
Actually, I feel like it's almost backwards. I feel like you need some of the old school mixed in because everything's almost too new school everywhere. We
That's
have
true.
Dangerous E. Corey Etzel, who was, before it was the, performance center when they just had basically, Al Snow and a few of those guys. He was training there, and he was in there at I think it was OVW. He was in there with Shelton Benjamin and Seth Rollins and all these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of those
So-
guys. He talks, we listen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You always need someone like that. You always need someone like that. So give us a rundown. Give us a rundown of some of the wrestlers' names and that we can look forward to seeing there that are coming over there with you. And give us a quick synopsis of like their style, whether they're hybrid, high flyer, ground and pound, smash, anything like that.
Okay. I'll start with somebody that feels like that could be our draw. I'm gonna go into Luca Daniels. You guys might not even realize how much you've seen Luca, but you've seen Luca. So Luca actually played one of the cops that escorted Dominic Mysterio into WrestleMania.
Nice.
Luca broke up the brawl between Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Luca's he's doing things at AEW, and he's all around North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, anywhere he's working. He is working. He's going to be wrestling the Gooba, Tyler Aiken, that I've known for a very long time. Has a very fun character. Yup by Young Gravy comes on, and everybody goes ballistic. He's very silly. He's fun when he's in the ring. He's a little more new school.
Okay.
When it comes to the old school, that's right into the heavyweight title. You got Corey Etzel versus Jacob Ryan. You're going to see a lot of old school there, and it's stuff that's been working forever and ever, and
Yeah.
it's going to bring back memories to all the stuff that you've liked from the 80s, early 90s. They have the mechanics, the stuff that you don't see anymore, the stuff that's missing. When it comes to this tag team match, me and Venom versus Baby Lotion Brown, everybody loves that name.
No baby oil.
You're not going to catch me doing any tope casitas and tope, all that stuff. You're not going to. I feel like we have a little bit more of an old school smash mouth style. Punch you, kick you till you fall down. Some slams along the way. Every once in a while, something fancy. But the people that we're facing, you're actually going to catch a lot more of that new school. So it's going to kind of feel like a clash right in the middle in the tag team main event.
Right.
Which is what people like. That's what I like. I like to see two different styles, two different sizes. I like to see the David Goliath. I like to see the two different styles clash with each other and see what happens. And
absolutely, you have.
It says you say old foes, new places. What's that mean? Is that because this is the feud that was going on from the now defunct promotion, and it's just still carry. You guys all still have heat with each other, and we're still going to go through with it. Okay.
We don't want people to forget what we built somewhere else. We don't want all that to go to waste. There's totally still problems right there. The guys that we're wrestling are part of Ireton Enterprises, which is led by Moses Ireton. He's not going to be in the match. Those are his guys.
Yeah.
Meaning it all comes back. It goes full circle. So somewhere down the line, this rivalry between me and Moses is coming to an end, and it's coming to an end in a different home.
Cool.
Well,
That's exciting. It's exciting, man. Something I want to say. You mentioned old school, a little bit of old school, a new school. Well, you gotta have in your roots and your foundation. You gotta have the old school, because that's always going to carry on for years and years and years. I mean, you got to have that rooted in, and once you have that rooted in your foundation, then you're set up. You're set up to succeed if you have the old school, because all the people that bled, the Terry Funks of the world, the Ric Flairs of the world, the old school. As long as that's planted, then you're always going to have success, and as long as it'll always cause you to look back on that, and even the new school people that think that they know it all or whatever, they're always going to have that old school staring them in the face, and they can always look back to that. So I think you're going to do very well in this new company. I'm excited to check it out.
Thank you so much. And it doesn't feel more old school than the guy who trained me, Mr. Number One, George South. So my roots come from. I mean, come on. Yes, sir.
So speaking of, checking it out, is it going to be available to stream anywhere? Going to have, is it going to be broadcast anywhere, like on YouTube or anything? Or are you going to have clips out there that we can watch?
Absolutely. It'll be more than clips. We're hoping to get full shows. Yes, we're learning as we're going along, but these are that we wanted in the past company that we weren't able to do. We always seem to hit that roadblock. So we all in our YouTube account, we're just waiting for this show to start putting content on it, and then we're rolling, baby.
Good. Good. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because there's so many, us. We're not in the North Carolina area. So anybody who's in the North Carolina area, definitely, buy tickets, go to the show. But the rest of us would love the chance to be able to check it out. And we watch so much independent wrestling from across the country. So you have the ability to kind of spread out your reach through the social media.
I watch how much you guys do with Mission Pro Wrestling, and it made me a fan. It got me invested. I love how much support you guys give all around the independent wrestling community. You guys help.
We try.
100%.
Yeah.
CCW. We really try to be able to, help people like you who are kind of, starting in a new venture, and you're really hoping that it's successful. So why not lend that support,
Absolutely. And that's why I don't know if I should say this live on YouTube, but whatever. My wife runs the social media, so she's a lot more organized than most of us because she's an intelligent woman.
We all need that.
Right. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have a TikTok, and we just got on X, Twitter, whatever you call the Twitter machine now. We're on it. We're new at that.
Nice.
Trying to build everywhere. And we want more than just a North Carolina audience. Like, are you kidding me? We want, as far as eyes can see us, we want to be putting out content. We've been doing things. It makes it hard at first because you don't have too much to give. Like, nobody's seeing the wrestling yet. So it's like the getting there.
Yeah.
And giveaways. Yeah. We're announcing over and over again, promoting our show. But next Saturday is when we could finally say, this is what we can do.
Right. Yeah. Is it a coincidence that your wife runs your social media and I run our social media? Is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad she runs it.
Because we'd botch.
What does that tell you, gentlemen? Huh?
Listen, because we'd botch.
Women rule.
Yeah.
So speaking of women, does your promotion have any women coming in, or any plans to have a women's title? I know it's you got to start off slow, but what's the trajectory for adding titles, and of course nobody wants to see 500 different titles, but a
And we
couple is cool.
have that. I don't want to go into all the big league promotions, everything, because we could do that on the Discord anytime.
Yeah.
But all the questions you guys are asking are things that were on my mind thinking about this podcast. Yes, we are going to have women's wrestling. Also, ACW did not allow women's wrestling.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You know what?
Wow.
It's not something for me to tell a story, but it is ridiculous. There were so many things that I had pitched way back when, and it all just went. I'd love some women that we are looking at in the Carolina and Tennessee indie scene.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at Sam Street. She's making a lot of noise very fast. This is her first year, and she's absolutely killing it. She's wrestling every single weekend on big shows.
Okay.
Trying to speak to Erica Demia.
Okay.
Trying to speak to Olivia Devine, who I trained with in George South School.
Okay.
And we're going to continue. Here's the issue. Every time, you think you're going to grab somebody, they show up on AEW Dark and it all goes, you know what it is?
Yeah.
Well, that's gone now, so.
Women they're hard to, it's hard. It's hard to kind of have that conversation, because just when you think that, you got somebody, they kind of get up to the next level, and then it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to have that conversation. But
yeah,
that's why we're not jumping right into, let's go get a women's championship. Let's establish a women's division.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're not having a different championship defended, for the first 3 or 4 matches of our very first show. Let's crown our first heavyweight champion. Let's let everybody know who that face is. Let's go into the second show. Well, let's crown a TV champion. Then let's go into our third show. Let's see how many tag teams we can bring in. And is it worth having a tag team division yet? If not, let's hold back on it. And I think when January comes along, a lot more questions we're going to be answered, because we will have finished out our year and we'll have just a little bit of establishment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would highly suggest. So John in the chat just said Erica Demia is a star in the making. I would definitely suggest, talking to John, or even talking to Front Row, because Front Row's involved in Mission Pro. John is involved in CCW in South Jersey at the Monster Factory. So yeah, definitely talk to them and see if you could at least get recommendations for people in the area. They're both very, very knowledgeable about the female talent that's out there.
I also have a nice on talent with women that I've trained with.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I think it was on Thursdays. I was in there with Savannah Evans, who was the first person to ever tell me when I was talking while something was going on to shut my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to piss her
off.
Wow.
It was before, Savannah Evans. She was, she was just getting back in the ring, and she told me to shut up, and boy, did I listen.
Well, you're in the North Carolina area, so I'm sure you're up big on the Queens of Combat, as that same way that Front Row used to always talk about.
Yeah, and I am going to talk to Front Row, and I am going to talk to any resources. I never ever think I have all the answers.
Yeah.
Go into when I have a match. If I thought it was great, I need to get that out of my mind. I got to go talk to a veteran and find out what I could have done better, so I can grow the next time.
Yeah. So so we were talking about the talent and everything, but we're also all connected to Busted Open. We're Busted Open 24/7 people, and we know you big Bully fans, and you respect Bully a lot. So I see this gentleman, Eddie Harper. He's a referee.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's in our chat there. Nice guy. He's really interactive with us. And thanks for subscribing, brother. And I just want to ask you, would Bully Ray rip this guy a new asshole, or is he a good ref?
He's a good ref, but if he opens his mouth, he'll probably.
Because we all know Bully Ray has an affinity with referees.
This is why I'm a Tommy guy.
If Jimmy Corderas saw this guy ref, would he have a reffing rant on him?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's cool. Does he know how to count to 3?
Yes.
Okay.
And he goes all the way down, whether you whether that was the planned finish or not. If you didn't get your shoulders up, he's
yeah, we're gonna. You know what? Sometimes piling on somebody is too much. So even for a ref, it's hard to just keep piling on the guy.
And Mike, you also won't catch Eddie holding any ladders for anybody.
Nice.
So speaking of Busted Open, we've heard you call into Busted Open for years now.
Mm-hmm. And it's hit or miss for you too.
We heard you call in and before you started training as a wrestler, and we heard you call in since you started training. And so tell us what you think, like listening to Busted Open and then deciding to train as a wrestler. What do you think is kind of the most valuable thing that you take away from their discussions on Busted Open? That any advice that you take, anything that you learn and bring with you?
That's really good. It was such a difference when I just used to call. I always try to be a fan. I always try to suspend my disbelief, no matter how hard it becomes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I love the breakdowns. The Sunday podcast is some of my favorites. And I've had arguments with Bully because no matter whatever Bully says, Bully's right. I've had arguments with Orange Cassidy. We recently got into something about Zelina Vega. I'm sure you guys all love that one.
Oh gosh, yes.
But I could tell you that there's been so many times that I have something that I want to say and I'm on the hold for an hour, and then what comes out is mush, and I go, what the fuck was that? And it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Here's the
thing. Do a bong rip, it helps.
Too late, I did it already. That bong rip he did on the show. Oh my God, I was driving in Dallas, Fort Worth, rush hour traffic, and he did that, and I busted out laughing so hard, and I'm trying to drive, and when I laugh, I cry, and my eyes squint. So I was trying to see, and I'm laughing at his ass. That was hilarious. Oh my God, I couldn't believe he did that.
I've almost crashed a 550 flatbed listening to that show. It's
see what you do, Mongrovian. You're dangerous.
I was so happy that I actually popped Tommy. Like Tommy is hard to pop, and I've done it like twice with him.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. Like I gave him a pulse. Like his heart rate went up for a minute.
You also brought Mark Henry food and he accepted it, didn't that happen?
No. That was Bully Ray. Mark Henry.
You haven't gotten the chance to give Mark Henry your meatballs yet.
I'll just say the last time I saw Mark Henry, he wished I brought him food.
I don't know if you guys.
That's all I'll say about that.
If you have a couple conversations.
If Mac's still in the chat, he'll agree.
I call in talking to Mark about food on Saturdays. Those are some of my favorite phone calls. And I try to talk about liver mush. And because he's not from the South, then North Carolina, South Carolina, things like that. he's never had liver mush. So he's like, what is it? And I keep trying to tell him, like, it's like we're just going to hang out one day. Like, I'm going to get you some liver mush, man.
And Scrapple.
Well, I was there when he tried Scrapple for the first time, so.
Similarity. Liver mush.
Mark's the best.
There's the truck driver that calls in that he's always cooking something on Saturdays. Remember him? And he's oh yeah, cooking something in the crock pot. And I'm like, this guy's in a truck. How's he cooking all this stuff? And now we see Tony's new truck. It's like he can put like a king size bed in there and hook himself out. I mean, really, it's so much room in that damn truck.
I mean, look at this. Look at this.
The cab of Tony's truck is bigger than my living room.
It's insane. He couldn't even hang up his.
Thinking about putting some pops up there on the shelves up here. You know,
he's got shelves. He's got drawers.
Jeez,
in a truck.
You ever wonder what happened to those people from Pimp My Ride that got their
man?
He doesn't have to piss on the rear left tire anymore.
I know.
Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus.
It's a full bath.
Anywho.
Wow. Well, Nick, man, it's so awesome to have you on, and I'm so happy that you're starting a new venture with a new company. I cannot wait to see what comes of this. And when you were talking earlier about the old and the new, it reminded me of AEW and how they started with certain people that brought their minds together and forged into AEW. And Cody's "This is a revolution" was going on in my mind whenever you were saying what you were saying earlier. So that's awesome, man. And I know we're all excited for you. You're Busted Open Nation. You're like an OG to us, and you're welcome on here anytime. We always enjoy talking to you, brother.
Thank you so much. And I assure you, we're not going to pop up with 30 different titles and no longer listen to veterans.
Eddie Hop has got a question here. What's your favorite match recommendation?
Yeah.
Favorite match recommendation? Like of all time? I'm sure you guys have seen it if I'm gonna say it.
Can we guess? Can we guess?
Sure.
I'm gonna guess the King of the Ring Hell in the Cell match with Undertaker and Mick Foley.
No.
Okay.
Any more guesses?
HBK and Ric Flair retirement match.
Oh, that was real good, but
damn.
It's up there though. I'm sorry, I love you.
Uh-oh.
Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Blood from a Stone match.
Strike 3, you're out.
Damn. Those are three good ones though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Are those in your top 10 at least?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
Okay, because those were in all our top 10.
Each of you guys guessed something that connected me more and more with wrestling. It made me feel something, and that's what wrestling is all about. My favorite of all time is Stone Cold versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17. Just that.
I was there.
That leads up to it, and it was like the biggest stars by two heroes going at it, and it felt so much larger than life. It felt larger than my life. It felt like the only thing that mattered in my life.
Yep. Yeah. And with all four matches we all mentioned, can anyone debate us on that? How it isn't?
Now that
you know what I mean? It's like, and they were all, and you know something too? All four different types of matches.
Yeah.
One of my favorite matches was he versus Dustin because it made me cry at the end.
There you go, too.
Oh, yeah. That's Dave's one of Dave's favorite matches, too.
Yeah, when they get you in the feels. Talking about getting you in the feels, and you're part of the Busted Open Nation as well. How did you feel seeing Izzy in her first debut match and coming full circle from being that kid, getting a hug from Bailey, the wrestler, to being the wrestler hugging the little kid? on Mission Pro. How did that make you feel as someone listening to that kid grow up?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I've seen the match card. I haven't seen the match yet. But you know what? I promise you, I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah.
And
awesome. Watch it. Because she also had a first win recently, too. So we got to catch up on that. But it's a shout out to Izzy. And
shout out to Izzy.
Yesterday.
Her call in on Busted Open. Just that. I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. That takes something to get someone like Bully and the rest of that crew to take you under their wing. And it's
she's a good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so smart. And
we got a question from Lauren Sexberg. Sinnick, who are you looking forward to working with most in Redemption Championship Wrestling?
Gosh. Somebody that I haven't worked with yet. That's always the thing. Like you want something new, something that's going to rise you up to a higher level than you are, teach you something that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like right behind Mongrovian Mike. It's a big question mark. I want it to be somebody that I haven't wrestled yet. I got eyes on Aaron Jones right now. I'd really love to wrestle him. He's going to be wrestling Zach Daniels at our first show. I know both those guys very well. They're brothers to me. So if I could step in the ring with Aaron, that might be my first answer, but it's not my only answer.
Okay. Nice.
Well, dang, this is fun. Hey, listen, you know what? Yeah. Hey, what do you guys think? We'll just talk about what went on in the week of wrestling and just.
Yeah, we got like 10 minutes of the show left.
Just let Nick stick around till the end, and we'll say.
Yeah, if you want to stick around for 10 more minutes, so we can just chat about the week in wrestling.
I'd love to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What happened?
Awesome.
Anything happen?
Awesome. Well, Deb,
steer this
ship. Steer this ship, Deb.
What happened, bro?
We were talking about Grand Slam before you came on.
Yeah, we were talking about Grand Slam. So we covered Eddie. And the other thing, obviously, MJF and Samoa Joe, which I thought was a freaking banger. So what are you guys' thoughts on MJF and Samoa Joe? Mongrovian?
Well, first of all, I just want to be able to see the kangaroo kick every time. But no, to be not serious though, it was a really good match. It was a great match in front of his hometown crowd. Even though he might have, bent the rules a little bit, he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. He's our scumbag.
I didn't see anything.
He earned Samoa Joe's respect because, hey, you know what? Samoa Joe is not someone who's just going to use his muscle buster with a clean win either. So he'll choke someone out illegally too. So he said, "Here's to you, kid." He finally put the hand out and got the respect, and that's a lot that it seems that MJF is going for too. Like the people that he was able to gain their respect and wrong the rights, that he was able to weave in that, stuff from the past, real life reality, and kind of get you a little hazy, and mix it up with the wrestling storyline, and it's very good.
I'd like to give it.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing that MJF is doing a really good job of being a babyface. I mean, he was a heel for a long time, and he's doing a very good job of being a babyface, even though we keep waiting on that other shoe to drop. Like every week we keep waiting for, all right, when's he going to do this? When's he going to heel out on Adam Cole? And if you notice, Adam Cole kind of took the heelish way with MJF on Wednesday. So, I think they're doing a really good job of MJF babyface, especially when he's in his home crowd. But everywhere he's been a great babyface. I look forward every week to seeing what they're going to do next as far as the tapes, the pre-tapes, the segments. I look forward to it. And, I mean, it's just an amazing job. So, Nick, give us your thoughts on it, bro.
Tony, is it safe to say that we're getting cliffhangers back in televised professional wrestling, and it's something to smile about?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to somebody else that has been the biggest character, in my opinion, they've ever been in their career since I started watching them, and that's Roddy Strong. Roddy Strong has been entertaining. He makes you go like, just go away. I can't stand you, but I still want to watch you and see what you're doing next. The neck break hospital.
Dude, when he wrestled first match, and came out, and when he came out with Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, and after he won the match and they came in and put the neck brace back on him, because like when he first came out, you're like, oh, okay, he tricked us, he's okay, but then they come back and he's like, oh, I need it. It's been hilarious, man. It really is. It's just so good, man.
Yeah. And speaking of people who are really coming into their, characters and personas, how about Tony Storm?
Yeah. I'm loving
Oh
this,
my God, yes.
Cool Marilyn Monroe, like snobby, Chris thing that she's doing. It's different.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Yep. It's hard to do different now. And you know what she's doing? She's going back. Because
that wasn't in the script. It wasn't in the script.
When you're going back, you're going to best.
And the entrance too. So she's got that entrance. I wonder if it reminds me of Goldust when Goldust used to come out. Went to black and white. 24 karat production and.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great if he just kind of kayfabed and came out as a director for her?
in the whole Goldust gear and everything, yeah.
Ooh, what if we get a Storm?
Oh man, yeah.
Ooh. Yes. So I think all in all, obviously there's been some drama in AEW. There's been, a lot of things that kind of fell apart for a little bit, but I think it seems so far that they're doing a pretty decent job of kind of trying to put the pieces back together. They're rebuilding. They're definitely in a rebuilding phase.
Can we say who gives a crap about crowd size and crowd numbers?
Yeah.
I've been to VFW halls, okay? I don't give a crap. Let's just have
right.
Let's just enjoy the wrestling. I don't want to look and see, there were 20 empty seats on the hard cam side. I don't care. I don't care about it. And I don't care if Tony. Listen, I like when Tony Khan buys the rights to songs, and so he evidently he bought a bunch of tickets. Okay, then you know what? I forgive him if he goes and he buys the rights to Thunderstruck for Thunder. All is forgiven.
That'd be awesome.
For real.
Yeah.
We saw that many fans.
It's obvious. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Was that? Sorry.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I know I might be lagging a little bit.
When you go ahead and watch that All In and you see all those fans and you see the energy,
my God.
That energy transfers through the screen at home. You get 10 times more excited for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see something you've never seen before, like when I saw Samoa Joe do that like catapult swing and put Punk's head like through like inside the announce table, I've never seen that in my life. So my favorite wrestler in AEW is actually Eddie Kingston. So you guys referenced him right off the bat. He's the guy that you never see win that big match or anything like that. You see him win like once every 6 months. But to my right, Mongrovian over there, we could talk about our New York guys and how we're just the realest people, and we'll tell you like it is.
Yeah.
And that's Kingston. There's nobody who just has that raw realness like Eddie Kingston, and that's why that's my guy.
Yeah, every promo he does doesn't come across like a promo. It's just him saying what he feels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we first fell in love with him again on when any NWA came around, and he was out there. Him and Homicide were out there cutting promos, and you were like, "Oh my God, this is what we need." And then he had that match with Cody, and then he got signed. He got everything he got. He deserved, man. And he's just got to stay healthy. He's just got to stay nice and healthy, as healthy as he can stay. I mean,
That's relative.
The aches and pains catch
one
up with
thing.
you.
One thing about Eddie though, there's a lot of wrestlers who come out and say what they're going to do in a promo, but when Eddie cuts a promo, you feel what he's going to do. Because this last promo he did right before this match that he had Wednesday, oh my God, that was probably one of his best promos. I mean, I felt every word I felt every word he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. One last thing I want to touch on very quickly before we go is, we had some news in WWE this week. We don't need to harp on it. Every single podcast, YouTube show, radio show, whatever has beat it to death this week. Mm-hmm. So I really just want to acknowledge Dolph Ziggler for the amazing performer that he is. Obviously we know he'll be fine. He himself has said it on podcasts several times that his favorite part about being at WWE is the paycheck. So he's going to be fine. He's not, he's not desolate or anything. He's going to be okay. He's a man of many talents, and he's probably in the position at this point in his life to just be able to go off and do something for fun, not for money. But I personally just really hate that, 19 years in WWE, all the championships he had, how reliable he's been over the years, that they can always rely on him to go out and have a freaking banger match, no matter what, whenever, whoever. I just hate that after all this time, this is how his time there ends. He's not getting to have a nice send off, a farewell match or anything like that. So that's a big bummer. So I just want to acknowledge Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, for how amazing he is.
Well, that's cool. Let's just say everyone that lost their jobs, let's just be glad that they get severance packages.
Right.
Which not everybody gets. I'm sure all of us here know that we get fired. Some of us might have some of us might not. Some of they're gonna be all right as long as they take if they read Matt Cardona's tweet this week.
Yes.
And for acknowledging Dolph Ziggler. I read a tweet I read an X from Hammerstone saying that when he had some when he had some problems or whatever, and during the pandemic, Dolph dropped some money in his whatever Venmo or whatever PayPal, and that's the kind of guy that Dolph Ziggler is, and he's gonna do all right. And really, these stars that just got let go are gonna be a little more accessible to us now. And I'm sensing that some of these conventions that come around, we're gonna have some Dolph Ziggler meet and greets. And all of them, from Aaliyah to Dolph Ziggler to whoever else was Elias.
And I will mention that the first WWE live event I ever went to in 2011, Dolph was a heel at that time. So me and the friends that I went with were all booing him. And we were in like the third row, I think. Yeah, the third row. And it was at the time, it was before the hockey arena was built here in Allentown. So we were at Stabler Arena, which is the place where Sergeant Slaughter initially debuted, at Stabler Arena. It's a smaller venue. So we were like third row on the floor, and we were booing him, and he glared at us and gave us the biggest dirty look. It was the funniest thing ever.
I know people compare him to Shawn Michaels' style, but I would say he's your old reliable. He's your Mr. Perfect of this era. That's what I would say he is.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's Just well, what do you think? What do you think, Nick? Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not on Netflix shows or anything, but a lot of what you guys are saying, that new series Wrestlers is extremely good. I'm on
Yes.
episode now, and it touches on a lot of these kind of things and like what we as wrestlers go through. What me being going on my 3rd year is just starting to learn about, just starting to experience. There is a life after wrestling if you create one, and Nick Nemeth is extremely funny. I'd love to see maybe he does something with his brother. That wasn't a possibility before. Now it is. So you can look at, putting your head down and going, oh man, they did that to Ziggler. They gave him a watch and kicked him in the butt. but
Yeah.
He ain't facing hard times. He ain't eating no pork and beans in the freaking alley.
He's not.
No.
We can look at all the positives. How about what are we going to see next from, FKA Dolph Ziggler? I know you love him, and I know he's going to be all right, and we're going to see some cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's probably getting ready to go on stage right now.
For
or
the
he's
next,
on stage right now.
Oh, yeah.
His Money in the Bank cash-in was one of the most memorable and one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next Nemeth Brothers stand-up tour. That's going to be great.
And all the younger talent and all the other talent that were there for a minute, and even talent like say Aaliyah, she's been there for a long time. I mean, they could go out there and now they could do some of the indie shows and see how it pans out, and something like Ziegler though. I don't rule it out that they bring him back in some capacity one day again, and
absolutely.
Because that's what they've done. Remember how surprised were we when they let Braun Strowman go, and then he came back, and they let this one go, and they come back.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt when they let him go, remember?
Yeah.
And hey, Aaliyah, if you're somehow catch this podcast and you're just looking for a place to wrestle, we're called Redemption Championship Rasslin, and just shoot us a message.
There you go.
We'll be happy to have you.
Shoot your shot, brother. Shoot your shot.
I like Aaliyah 317.
I think that's the perfect way to end this.
Yeah, man.
How about that? Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Nick, like I said, pleasure having you on. You're welcome back anytime. You have a open forum to come back on here anytime you want. Just get a hold of any of us, and we'll make sure it happens. So, Nick, shout out your socials. Shout out your company's socials. How can people reach you?
First off, this whole experience has been amazing, and I would love to come back. I'm on Instagram, @SinnickX. I am on Twitter, @DiseaseVessel. I am on Facebook. You can follow me just as Sinnick or Nick Sinnick Kern if you want to get personal. And I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees. In the search bar, just type in Sinnick. I've got a whole bunch of shirts that I just put out designs for.
Nice.
There's probably some more that I'll kick myself for not plugging, but that this is what it was meant to be, and I'm so happy that I got to do this.
Awesome.
That's
well,
awesome.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you, brother. We're all happy for you. Mongrovian, how can people find you on the socials?
You can find me everywhere at Mongrovian Mike, and I just want to shout out once again, happy birthday, Coach Todd. Happy birthday, RA. Happy birthday, Front Row. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. I got 2 moms, so cheers to them.
Cheers.
Cool. Deb,
people
find you on the socials.
I am at That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine and on Instagram. And I just want to give a little personal shout out. She's not going to see this, but I got some bad news this afternoon about my grandmother, my dad's mom. So I'm going to go visit her tomorrow. So I just want to give a shout out to her. She is literally probably the baddest woman y'all would ever know. So that's that.
Awesome. We're here for you, Deb. You know we are.
Yes.
So hope you have a good visit. Yeah, that's tough. Well, y'all can find me at Tony Justice AJFA. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I think all four of us are, Nick, are you a Metallica fan?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, then you know what that means. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So thank y'all for joining Nation's Corner tonight, and we will catch y'all on the flip.